Hi, I'm Jason Horejs, owner of Xanadu Gallery in Scottsdale, Arizona. We know that normally this time of year, many of you would be visiting us in Scottsdale, but due to current circumstances are unable to. And a lot of times during the spring season, we will have the opportunity to have artists in the gallery. You can meet them, learn a little bit about their background and the inspiration behind the work that they're creating. We thought that since you can't be here to do that, we would bring some of that experience to you. And I'm excited to have a series of conversations with our artists talking about their work and background and inspiration. And so our first artist today is close to home, John Horejs. You might guess by the names that we're related. John is my father. And I've been showing his work in Xanadu Gallery since the first day we opened almost 20 years ago. And of course, I grew up watching him working in the studio, creating the artwork that he does. And so it's a real pleasure to get to have a little conversation with him. I know a lot of the answers to the questions that I'll be asking, but it'll be fun to just explore a little bit of that background. So it's good to have you here with me. Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
And so let's start with just a little bit of background. Tell us how and when you began painting.
It's been years ago. I began experimenting with paint. I've always drawn from high school, from before high school, but I began painting in earnest after high school, really. I was on a mission for our church to France and had some experiences painting then. And then when I came home, I had an aunt who was a Sunday painter that lived not far away. And I asked her if she would show me some things because I'd never done anything with it. And she showed me, she agreed to give me some lessons. And so I went to her home and she showed me what I needed, where I needed to go, gave me about 6 lessons and threw me out of the nest, and I was on my own.
You are primarily a painting landscapes and some still lifes, and of late have been doing some abstract work as well. But what initially drew you to the landscape?
Probably the experience. My father was a great outdoorsman, and we spent a lot of time up in central Idaho in the mountains, the Sawtooth Mountains, and around the country and in natural outdoor locations. And I always have loved, I enjoyed the feeling and the look of the outdoors when I'm out there. So
You have been painting, as you already said, for many years now. How has your work, would you say, evolved over the years?
oh gosh, as I look back at my early work, it feels very stiff, very stilted, and very inexperienced. And as I compare it to what I'm doing now, there's a lot of refinements. Some of the refinements early on were pretty large. I'd experiment with things and see things and hear and watch and go to the museums and the galleries and learn and make those changes in what I was doing. Now it's getting smaller and smaller. The increments for learning and growing and improving are even more refined than they were. It's a joy for me trying to improve on what I'm doing and make it more to my liking, so.
We see a variety of different subject matter that you're creating from, obviously we're located in Arizona, you live in Arizona during the winter months. And so we see a lot of desert sunsets and cactus and that kind of thing. And then also you spend time in Idaho during the summers. So we see a lot of mountain scenes, images from the north and northwest. What are you trying to convey in that variety of landscapes? What kind of story are you trying to tell, or what kind of experience are you trying to create for your viewers?
Probably, I don't think I'm really trying to come up with any sort of narrative. I like I say, I like nature. I like being out in nature. I think our lives have become so harried, so busy. We didn't take the time really to slow down and look And a lot of people, I think in their homes, would like a little bit of respite, a place to come and get away from the world outside. So I try to make the paintings as if I'm looking out a window and seeing the scene. I like to create the depth and the atmosphere that you would feel if you were actually there. And a lot of the feedback says I'm coming close to that feeling. A lot of people enjoy having that in their homes so that they can come home to a more quiet, contemplative space.
Talk a little bit about the process of gathering your subject matter. We can see that you're in your studio. You have a painting on the easel. Are you painting on location?
I do some work on location, mostly in the summertime when I'm in Idaho. Here, I take a lot of photographs. I work from a lot of photography. I'm upgrading my equipment all the time. Had a good digital camera and actual 8x10 photographs that I could work from and create from. Lets me take a lot of subject matter, and then I can get home and edit and choose what I want to do. But in the summertime, when I go up and paint on location, there are benefits to all the work and the different methods of doing. And I think bringing the best from all those experiences is what I try to do. I love to be able to look at a painting, and sometimes I'll get comments from people at shows or when they see a painting that look at the dimension, look at the depth, and I like to sort of create that or recreate that feeling in what I'm doing, or try.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and spending a few minutes sharing your story. It's always, obviously, always fun to talk and to get a little bit of background. And for those of you who are watching this session, if you have questions that you'd like to ask John or other artists, feel free to contact us on our website at xanadugallery.com. Again, thank you, and we'll look forward to talking in the future.